Hi ladies, I saw a video similar to this online, and the person had used actually two pieces of designer series paper. Well, you know me, I don't want to waste. I figured out how to do it using one piece. That's what I'm going to show you today. The card will be a different card, but it will be the same idea. So let's get started. You're going to need your card base, and in this case I'm using Whisper White, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. My layer behind it is 4 by 5 1/4, and then my designer series paper, DSP, that I'm going to cut my V out of is actually 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. And this, when it was cut, will layer onto here with some space in between. All right, first thing you need to do is you need to do some measuring. I'm going to be marking this, but I'm going to be doing it on the back, so then my score lines won't show. I'm using a mechanical pencil and my T-ruler. Okay, and I'm measuring on the right side. Whoops, wrong side. I'm going on the right side first. All right, and I'm going down 1 3/4 of an inch, and I'm putting a mark like so. On the left side, I'm measuring down 2 1/2, and I'm putting a mark. And these marks will be used for your cutting. From the bottom, I am coming up 1 1/4. Okay, all right, hold on. I'm going to turn it around because it's that way I get a good even. I'm coming up 1 1/4, so somewhere in here, and I'm coming in 1 3/4 inches for that mark. So there's my pencil line. I know it's hard for you to see, but there's my bottom line. I'm going to over exaggerate my marks a little so you can see them. Okay, so I have my marks here, here, and here. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my trimmer. Now, if you don't have our trimmer, you can use any trimmer, but I really like ours, and I have to say I've had many hand trimmers before, and I still like my guillotine, but I do like this trimmer. I have a very heavy hand, so usually what happens for me is this track gets split, and then I don't get straight cuts. But what you're going to do is you're going to take, and your darker one is your cutting blade. So what you want to do is you want to take that first line up, first mark up there, and the one in the middle, and put it in the center of the track. All right, and I can see what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up to the 4-inch line. So I've got that mark at the 4-inch line. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to pull this down till that marker is at 4 inches. Okay, that gives me the cut on the one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, I'm using my 4-inch mark, so I know where to stop cutting. You can use any mark you want. It just so happened that that one worked for me. And then there's my other mark. So I'm cutting down to the 4-inch line, and you can kind of feel it give. And when I flip it over, I have my two pieces that are split. It's like so. Okay, so now I have a space to put my message in there. I'm going to get my stamps and all because I didn't bring those with me, and I'll be back and we'll finish this card up. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to use, and I've stuck some hearts on here that I punched for something else, so don't pay attention to them. But I'm going to use the Sealed with Love set because I did use the paper that's part of this bundle. That's where this paper came from. So I'm using this bundle. Totally forgot to tell you that. With that. So I'm using from this, I'm going to use the Hugs and Kisses. And then I wanted a little heart over here. And the hearts in here were too big. So I went into my Pun Intended, and they have a little heart, and it'll fit perfectly in there. You don't have to put anything on this side. I'm going to. So with that in mind, and I'm going to be using my black Memento ink for my sentiment and my red for my heart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put my paper onto the top piece onto my card. And again, I am putting tape all the way around it. Since you've cut this, you really want it to make sure it stays down. So I put tape all around the edges on this. And then I'm going to center it side to side and at the top so that it's fairly straight. And now I'm going to take my Memento black ink, and I'm going to take my Hugs and Kisses, and I'm going to use my space right there and stamp my Hugs and Kisses, my sentiment. Now I'm going to take my Real Red, and I'm using Real Red because I want just a hint there, and I've re-inked this, so I've got to be really careful. I may do some off stamping first to see how inky it is. Oh, not too bad. When you re-ink them, they have a tendency to be really heavy on the ink. And as you can see, I'm just following the line and stamping my hearts. I need to get that in water or it's going to stain. So I'll do that. Okay, I'm back. While I was cleaning my stamp, I decided to pick up some ribbon. And I have a lot of this ribbon left over from the holiday catalog that is just perfect for this, so I'm going to use it. And then I also picked up some enamel shapes, the silver ones, so I can get some bling. All right, so I'm going to add my last piece, and remember, I'm adding a lot of tape all around the edges so that it sticks. And I apologize for that big old thing, but I cannot use snail in my house. Things fall apart. This is the only thing that works, other than glue, which can be messy at times. Now, here's the tricky part. You've got to leave a space at the bottom, and you've got to have your sides fairly even. If they're off a little, it's not going to matter. But there's your V with your space for your sentiment. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to use some Terran tape that I have, if I can find the beginning of it. All right, and I'm going to put 2 pieces on the back at the top. And I'm going to take my 2 ribbons and I'm going to put them together and I'm going to push them into that tape. And I'm going to untwist it because I'm anal like that. There we go. Match it up, stick it down, and I'm just going to keep on going across because I'm going to do it twice. And I've gotta separate them out so that they lay right. Okay, there's that one, and there's that one. And I'm going to push it down in here. Then I'm going to take my ribbon scissors and I'm going to cut it. Now to make sure that that ribbon stays in, or that twine stays in place, I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape, and I know they call it tear and tape, but I'm anal. I cut mine, and I'm going to put it over top so that ribbon, the twine, is sandwiched in between. Okay, now what I'm going to take and do is I'm going to add some, and I've added extra only because I want it to make sure it stays in place. Okay, and I have my card folded in half. I've stuck it down. Now I'm going to make a bow, and I'm going to try something. I saw this idea and I really liked it, but I'm going to use 3 fingers, and mine are small, so I'm going to kind of separate mine, not too much because you don't want too big of a bow, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. Take my ribbon scissors, take it off my hand, and form a figure 8. Then I'm going to take, that's when this twine is really good, and I couldn't get it straight, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to form a figure 8, kind of see if they're the same, they're okay, and I'm just going to lay this on top of here, give myself plenty of room, and I'm going to tie a knot. This gives me, hold on, I grabbed, okay. If you don't pull it too tight at first, you can adjust it, but then once you get it where you want it and it looks fairly even, what you want to do is tie your double knot so that it stays tight. Then use your scissors and cut, and now you have a nice double bow. And that's a little big. Let me see if I can find out the end. Oh, that's why, because it's not a bow, it's an extra piece. Okay, pull your threads down, and I think that was a bow that just didn't get caught, but that's okay. And I'm going to kind of mash it, and I'm going to take some glue dots, and the UPS man is here with my things, and I'm going to put 2 glue dots on the back, and I'm going to add my ribbon. Now the only thing left are my silver hearts, which I'm going to kind of bend, and I'm going to put one there, and if you kind of bend it, you can get it pops a little, you can get it on your pokey tool. One here and one more, one down here. There it is, complete. What do you think, ladies? Fun card, isn't it? And you can trim that up if you want, but I kind of like it that way. Thanks for joining me today.